Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where I talk about whatever the hell I want. And we're back to Muppet That Movie. And joining me is fellow Muppet aficionado. It is Patrice. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me back for another round of Muppeting.
Absolutely. And we are indeed taking things cool. We're Soderbergh ready to take Ocean's 11 and throw a bunch of Muppets in it. So obviously, this is a cool, sleek film with George Clooney and a whole bunch of other famous people, and we're just going to replace them with famous Muppets instead. So there we go. So I know my approach is always try to replace everybody with Muppets, but I will be interested to see, Patrice, who you left as not a Muppet.
Oh, yeah. So I knew right away that I wanted Danny Ocean to be the only human because
Makes
I
sense.
felt like, yeah, I felt like that was really just going to be the comedic thread to run through this whole thing is just having one live action little gem in the middle to hold this mess of chaos together.
Absolutely, and him probably flirting with Miss Piggy. Um,
Uh, well,
we'll
maybe.
get there for sure. Which, well, I guess let's get started with obviously we have 11 crew members to cast here. So who I focused on obviously were the 11 crew members, and then Tess and Terry, I feel like are the only other two like really big people. But
For sure.
I did have a fun idea for the poker crew that
I did
Rusty is.
too.
So actually, let's start with that since that's actually pretty early in the movie. So
Yeah.
obviously in the actual film, we have Brad Pitt teaching a bunch of young celebrities how to play
Mhm.
poker. Which it's so funny, like who they are in 2001.
I think it's great. Like I was looking when I rewatched it for this, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great to see them all in little baby faces."
Yeah, Topher Grace, Joshua
Yes.
Jackson. But what did you have for this poker lesson crew?
So because poker was kind of a thread through Next Generation and then they carried it over with Lower Decks, I actually chose the Lower Decks crew. So I've got Jack Quaid, Tawny Newsome, Noah Wells, and Eugene Cordero, and Jerry O'Connell. Jerry O'Connell being the only one a little bit on the older side for the crew. So, but I think just the fact that it's all, they're not all necessarily known for their faces either, but I think a lot of people do recognize, I mean, a lot of people are going to recognize Jack Quaid and Jerry O'Connell either way.
Yeah.
But, I think it's kind of a fun little Easter egg for people that are fans, especially playing poker.
That is definitely an outside the box choice that I absolutely love, and that would be hilarious because they are a really fun crew, especially. And I love seeing them, some of them in live action when they did
Right.
that crossover with Strange New
Yeah.
Worlds. So my idea was it was the Electric Mayhem are just there to
That's
get some
awesome.
poker lessons. And Animal like flips the table at the end, and that's the end of the class.
Oh, that's great. I have another use for them. So
Okay.
actually, my idea, instead of it being a
Hmm.
boxing match that's bringing all the big things to town, is that
Oh
it's an
my God,
Electric Mayhem concert.
it's great. They're
So that
playing at
through,
the
yeah,
MGM Grand.
yes. So throughout the whole movie, you're gonna get Animal wandering the floor looking for Nora. I want
Great.
at least 2 or 3 times during this movie for him to be looking for her, and then for us to just kind of
Aura.
randomly see Lily sing in the background of different stuff, but we never see them actually find each other.
That's fantastic. I like that a lot in terms of because like that's the thing. It could be like any event, and then also them just being like, it's the biggest event of the year. The
Right.
Electric Mayhem plays the MGM Grand.
Because at first I thought it'd be funny if they just call it the event and you never find out what the event is. It's like, well, the big event's this weekend. They
Yeah.
got the big event coming up. Well, it's the big event. But I'm like, nah, I'm going Electric Mayhem.
Well, I think it'd be hilarious if you did do that and you just randomly see Animal popping up
And
everywhere, and then during the heist they cut to the event and it is just the
it is.
Electric Mayhem. That is a lot of fun. Now, obviously, so going with all Muppets, Kermit obviously is going to be Danny. Who did you have Kermit play?
So I actually have Kermit as he's the only real straight man you've got. So I figured he had to be Reuben, the Elliot Gould character,
Nice.
because especially when you go into the later in the franchise, he's the only one that held on to his money. He's the only one that
Yep.
makes money because he could fund this to begin with.
Mhm.
So I felt like he would also just be so funny in the outfits because Elliot Gould kept having the best, like the purple plaid ensemble he has the one time. Like he's just got really great clothes in all the Ocean's movies. And I think Kermit would be hilarious in that.
So I picked Sam the Eagle for Ruben. And I just want to imagine him in little trunks and this bathrobe, just with his like gut hanging out, walking around with like big
Little
glasses
tufts of
on.
feather.
Yeah, it would be funny because it's like, Los Earl Terry Benedict, Casinos.
I actually did fit Sam the Eagle in. I think he should be the head of security. So the
That
guy
makes a
that they
lot of
keep
sense.
I actually had Sam the Eagle in like 5 different places throughout. Like he's like an alternate on every one of these
There
because
you
I thought
go.
he'd be funny in the Carl Reiner spot too. Because then
Yes.
I thought it'd be funny if he did an accent, would have been hilarious.
So I did have one like there has to be a moment where they go through a kitchen at some point just to randomly have the Swedish chef there.
Oh, oh, I've got that.
Yeah, because like I feel like that just has to happen,
Hmm.
and then you have to have talking fruit, food and stuff like
Yep.
that. So,
My thought for the Swedish chef was actually like they use a stripper to get the key card off of one of the guys in the original. So I
uh-huh,
think if they were at a hibachi grill and he flicks the food, and it's because his food always talks. If he
yeah.
flips the food grabs the card, and then he gets whoopsie and brings it back, and that's how they get the card.
Or he's running the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at the strip club because only classy joints have
Yes,
all-you-can-eat.
only the best and classiest will have an all-you-can-eat buffet of talking fruits
I
and
learned this from Parks and Rec because Ron Swanson only goes for the
bacon.
breakfast buffet.
Yes.
So I had Kermit as Danny. So so and Rusty being best friends, I felt like I had to put Fozzie. Obviously, it's a
Mhm.
very different vibe for Rusty,
For sure.
but it would be hilarious watching Fozzie eat every single scene that he's in because that is the running joke that Brad Pitt
Mhm.
ate in every single scene that
So
he was in.
yeah, that was actually the easiest character for me to cast this entire thing because I chose
Mhm.
Rizzo because he ate his way through Christmas Carol to begin with. So Rizzo eating in every scene is something we're just used to in general from his characters. So I thought he was perfect for the eating.
So I originally had Rizzo as Saul, just from like general like New York kind of
Yeah.
Jewish vibes, but
Oh, that would have been funny.
I switched him to Basher because I feel like it would be hilarious seeing Rizzo the Rat trying to do all these different characters. But it was because I thinking like Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo as
Mhm.
like the big three, which is why I put Gonzo as Linus, which
Mm.
which I think if this continued for all three movies, him having the fake nose on in the third one would be hilarious. But then
Oh man,
also
I didn't even think of that.
Gonzo would be a great basher too. Because
So I
especially
went,
when he dressed up as like the Knievel.
oh my God, yeah. So Basher, I went with an oldie that doesn't get
Okay.
brought out very often, but I went Crazy Harry. I mean,
Nice.
that's the only part of his personality we know is he blows things up. He's a 45, 50-year-old character that we rarely see other than in the
Mhm.
background.
Yep.
So I thought it'd be fun to actually get him in a bigger role for the first time ever.
There you
But
go.
but Basher could have been so many great like because I thought, Bunsen and Beaker would have been kind of fun for Basher. Like there was a lot
Mhm.
of good ways to go with that. But like I said, I kind of wanted to pull out at least one. Like I always like to throw, like I had Link Heartthrob last time. Like I like to throw one of the real like
Yeah.
original kind of characters that don't get any screen time anymore other than just in the background not doing much. But I went with Gonzo as Terry Gilliam or Terry Gilliam. God, I can't even right now. Yeah, okay.
Terry
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 Benedict.
Benedict. Nice.
He's not directing movies in this one. It's fine. It's fine.
Terry Gilliam would be a really funny, just random human to throw
Just
into
yeah,
a Muppet movie.
he could. Yeah. Oh my God, he could just be at a table playing craps with someone.
Oh no, they just get all the surviving members of Monty Python just craps at a table together in
Oh
a
my
random
gosh,
scene.
that would
Because
just be so great.
so that is a really funny running gag that you could have here is anytime they're in the casino, seeing random famous people playing
Oh yeah, that's the best
games and
part of.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
this one is so ripe for all that kind of stuff where people don't even have to say anything. You just have famous people pop up everywhere because they're constantly walking through casinos.
Yeah.
So, and then when they're actually at the concert, all the oh my gosh, just it'd be so funny to have like a bunch of musicians in the
Yes.
crowd coming to see the mayhem and just I've been a fan my whole life. Like, oh, they're why I got into music. Like, it'd be so funny to have
No,
just a bunch of really like just all kinds of different musicians.
absolutely. But no, so like I have Gonzo, so Kermit Fozzie Gonzo as Danny, Rusty, and Linus. Obviously, like Tess, I feel like it has to be Miss Piggy.
Yeah, see, so that's why I went a different route with this altogether.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, so let me start with my Danny Ocean. I actually went John Hamm because
Okay.
he's worked with Muppets a couple of times and he
Yeah.
just has. And after like recently with watching Your Friends and Neighbors and him being all
Mhm.
like into the thieving, like he's really good at the thieving. I think he'd be so fun to see with them in a full movie because he's done Sesame Street bits with like
Mm,
Elmo over the years
yeah.
multiple times. And he's done like red carpet stuff with Piggy, which was really funny. And I just think he's just Muppety enough
Yep.
to fit in, but still kind of be the suave dude running this whole thing. So then if you've got Terry being Gonzo, obviously Tess is Camilla.
Nice. And just John Hamm trying to steal away
Yes.
the
Because
chicken.
how funny is John Hamm just like seducing a chicken? Like, especially she's sitting in the restaurant by herself and he just like comes on in to
Yep.
talk to the chicken.
That's perfect.
Then I've
That
got I had a better spot for Piggy for my crew, which was she
mm.
was actually going to be the Carl Reiner because she's got all her
Nice.
jewels and everything anyway.
Nice.
So she's got her famous jewels have to be locked up in the safe, and then she can break a heel on her shoe and have to be wheeled out, but because she can't walk, and because there's been several times in different movies where she's caused a commotion over stuff like that. Like she's really great at
That would be
causing.
hilarious if it's literally just her heel breaks and she has to be taken out by an
Yeah,
ambulance.
because just the heel of her shoe breaks, but
Literally
that's it.
just the
Like
heel of her
it's like, oh my shoe.
and it's a whole entire emergency.
Yes.
Um so for Terry Benedict, I have Uncle Deadly.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. I didn't even think of that. Like, this is the first time I don't think I've cast Deadly. I love him.
Which like just having him in these nice suits and stuff
Mhm.
like that and him because like Terry Bennett, I love Andy Garcia in this
Mhm.
because he's just intense and intimidating.
Yes.
I just want to see Deadly a little bit more like Wah! And just like you think you can steal from me.
Yeah. Oh, it should be even better if they go on to do Ocean's 12 and he just is showing up all over Europe,
Yeah.
knocking with a cane. Ah!
So felt like that was
Oh
some
man, that's
good bit of
great.
casting.
Mhm.
Which is also funny because I recently saw a video of Vincent Price on the Muppet Show with his
Oh,
Muppet monsters and De Deadly
mhm.
up in that. So let's see, who else do we have here?
So who do you have for the twins?
So I went with Bunsen and Beaker. It would be a
Perfect.
different kind of like bickering kind of dynamic. Which, fun fact, did you know who they originally wanted to play Virgil and Turk in the movie, like the actual movie? The
Mhm.
Coen brothers.
Oh my God. That's kind of amazing.
I kind of wish that happened, but no, Casey Affleck and
Oh,
Scott
and Scott
Conn are
Conn.
so good.
They're
It's
so
so
great together. I love it.
yes.
Like,
But no, like it would just be like Bunsen getting slightly miffed at times and Beaker just being like
oh
just
my
like
gosh, especially if they
giving
still start out with like the truck scene kind of thing at the beginning
yeah.
when you first meet them, and Beaker's the one with the remote control, and Bunsen just, or actually, because it's Bunsen, he'd have to have something come out of the tire and just like destroy.
Just like a hammer comes
Yeah.
and just smashes it down. But no, like who did you have for Virgil and Turk?
I think Waldorf and Statler would be hilarious because they're old guys and they're the getaway drivers.
So that see, that's a perfect pairing idea. So I went because obviously I had to have Statler and Waldorf because
Of course.
outside of Sam the Eagle, they're my favorites. I made Saul two separate characters, and I'm gonna make it a running joke that there's actually 12 of them the whole entire time. But it's Statler and Waldorf for the older crooks that get brought in like Saul
Oh my
does.
gosh, that's great.
And they have to put on they're gonna argue with each other who gets to be like the guy.
The guy,
And
yeah.
then because you know they just bring that older energy to the whole vibe of the movie.
It'd be
So
great if part of causing the chaos, instead of trying to actually like get once everything's in the vault, if a bunch of all their old guy friends on scooters and everything else are just all of a sudden descended on the casino and just, oh hey, where's the buffet, the buffet, like they all just start doing something like, oh, we're trying to get to the buffet, and just cause like a traffic jam in hallways so no one can get anywhere.
it's like it instead of like a really famous person with this very high-end jewelry and stuff, they're like, we're here to start. We want to have our convention here.
I want to have the AARP annual convention here in
Yeah.
Vegas at the
And
Bellagio.
then at one point they both go out to the balcony of the show and get on a microphone and start critiquing the concert in the middle of it.
We didn't like it 40 years ago and we still don't. Oh,
Oh, oh, that would be
oh, that'd be great. That'd be so great.
um we got Livingston and Yen left, I think, in
So
terms of the crew.
Livingston is actually who I put Bunsen and Beaker at. Initially, I had
Makes
Chip from
sense.
IT, but I was like, you know what? Bunsen and Beaker could come up with some really fun ways to do all this stuff. So that's where I slid them in.
I put Scooter.
Okay. So I actually have Scooter as my Linus.
Nice. There you go.
So, because I think, especially if you go with the original Muppet Show, Scooter's
Mhm.
uncle owned the theater, and that's why
Mm,
he was the gopher, is he was trying to get into the business. So,
there
if
you
you
go.
actually go with Scooter's origins, it works really
It
good. But
makes
I
actually
also
a
think,
lot of sense.
yeah,
And
and
then
Scooter has the right energy for it.
you meet his family in the
Yeah.
second one when you find out that they had to get bailed out.
Yes.
I had Pepe as Yen.
I almost did. And then I went with a quartet of rats, the Yolanda, Chester, Masterson, and Tatooine. Where well, Yolanda's been in a lot of stuff, but they
Can
haven't
they
really
be
named other.
four rats in a trench coat at
Yeah,
one
like
point
they could. I
stacked on
just
top of
think
each
like
other?
the fact that they could do all those kind of gags, and that because they're the bag man, they can fit in anything. They can be tossing each other across to get through the vault and everything. I just think all the different times we've seen clusters of rats in the movies, like, in Manhattan and Christmas Carol, like it's always fun to see a bunch of them together.
Yeah. Well, that if that what's funny, if he did have Rizzo as Saul, he has a rat convention come into the casino too.
But
That
just
would be
hundreds of them all
rat.
over.
Yeah. And like the random like people start freaking out that there's just
Yeah.
rats
Like,
everywhere.
where? What?
Skipped right over Frank.
Oh, so
Bernie
that's
Mac.
where I have Fozzie there.
Nice.
It's like
Very
comedian,
nice.
comedian, perfect. We got this.
I I wanted Ralph in here somewhere.
Oh my
And
gosh, yeah.
I figured he'd be cool as Frank. I just want to see Ralph like giving like strong arm
Yeah.
handshake to
Well, and
somebody.
he's one of the few characters that has a human hand in his hand, so it would
Yeah.
be great. Oh,
Which
that's perfect.
also with Fozzie, instead of just holding on to the handshake, it's just he passes off a rubber chicken or something.
Yeah.
It's some kind of gag like that.
I just thought he'd be funny, like dealing and stuff too, because he's just so
Mhm.
inept. Like it
Yep.
was just like, oh, you wanted one car? How about three? Waka waka.
Waka waka. Where it's just like, and just like Terry Bennett comes out as like, where did you, who registered you in the raw, in this state? He points
The
to
man
his
that
thumb.
looks at my thumb.
Your thumb registered you in a different state to break parole. Silly, the man who lives inside my thumb registered me.
And later, when he gets arrested, I would love to have his thumb be like shackled to the wall.
Yep, it's his thumb. You know how they have like the cuffs on the tables?
Yeah.
So he has regular cuffs, and then he has a one thumb cuff.
Yeah.
His thumb
With like a
down
teeny
too.
little chain.
Oh, this would be such a fun time because a big ensemble like this has so much opportunity to just go shenanigans with the Muppets for
And
sure.
there's so many other things coming and going throughout this. So you could also bring in like so Bruiser, the guy that like doesn't beat up Danny,
Yeah,
like Sweetums. Come on,
Sweetums,
like
100%. Yep.
that'd be so great. And you just have all these like when the cops come and just there's so many different things that would be such great sight gags. Even if like yeah, you could have all the Sesame Street gang comes in. Like if
Mhm.
they were like a SWAT team or something, would be so funny to just see like
Just Big
Snuffleupagus and
Bird.
Big Bird
Just like,
and like someone pushing a trash can in with Oscar. Like it's just a trash can on wheels, but he's still
yep.
part of the group. Like, and then I even thought like you can also tie in because I think it'd be funny to tie in people as the characters they're currently playing because that
Mhm.
happens in some of the stuff throughout the years, like in the shows and things like that. They've done that. So I think if you did like people from like the morning show, like if you got like Nestor Carbonell and Nicole Bahari or something, I think is her name,
Mhm.
but they're like the hosts on the morning show right now. Like you don't
Yeah.
go Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. You got to go with someone else who
Yeah.
they're recognizable as those characters. If you had like Yanko and Chris live from the Bellagio to cover the concert, would be so funny.
That would be very funny. And even like the poker game at the beginning, if that's just like the actual cast from Ocean's 11,
Right?
where
Yeah.
it's Rusty trying to teach George Clooney, Brad
Like
Damon how
Matt
to play
Damon out of
poker.
poker. It's just, there's so many great places to throw all kinds of people and characters because you just
Mhm.
keep going through the casino floor and
Yep.
it just so fun to see like who hits and who doesn't. Like it's like you could just I just think it'd be funny like Cookie Monster at an all you can eat. Like he's walking with a plate and then all of a sudden sees a pile of cookies and goes nuts.
Yep.
Things like that would just be so great.
Or like specifically as a plate full of veggies. And then he turns and sees a whole buffet of cookies, and then just like he tosses it for the cookies.
Cookies.
Nom, 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 nom. No, this one is very fruitful for all kinds of fun gags and cameos in the casino, at the concert, and everything. Be a fun time. Um, every time we do one of these, it just makes me more upset that they're not doing more with the Muppets,
Right? Like
which they did just announce that the Muppet Show is supposed to be coming back, right?
mhm.
So,
Didn't last
oh,
too long last time, the last two times actually, which I enjoyed it both times. Like when they did the Muppets, like the CBS version for what was it, two seasons? Like I liked that show. It wasn't for everyone because they weren't used to seeing them in those more serious personalities and having lives outside the show and stuff. So I think that's what
yeah,
like people weren't expecting it to be like, oh, they're more like real people, but that's what was so funny about it.
yeah.
And then they did the Muppets Now during COVID, which I thought was
Yeah.
funny. Like, that was a great use of the like how they could actually
Hmm.
film and do things at that point. So that was pretty funny, especially with Scooter being like in charge of getting everything
Yeah.
together. That was so funny.
Fun,
So I'm really
had a
glad
fun
that,
time with that. And
yeah,
I was hoping that they would
expand and
conti-
like bring it. Yeah. I was
continue that,
surprised.
but
Yeah. Well, and even Mayhem. Like, why'd we only get one season? And they canceled it like instantly too.
because
Like,
Disney
I haven't even
sucks.
had a chance to watch it. And it's
Ugh,
amazing. I love that
it's
show.
it is great.
Oh, it's so
And
good.
like getting them a chance to like flesh them out. Because like
Yes.
I think most casual people know Animal.
Mhm.
And that's about it from the Electric Mayhem. Like that was such a fun
Yeah.
show getting to have everybody getting a chance to get fleshed out. And I grew up on 90s Muppets and I
Mhm.
didn't realize how important Electric Mayhem were even just in the original Muppet movie
Yeah.
until I watched it in a theater a couple of
Yeah.
years ago. I'm like, wait a minute, they were like
Right.
one of the
Yeah.
big ones.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. So that,
because
I mean, the Muppet movie and the original Muppet show were the first things because that's what was that what saw that in a theater and I watched that on TV because that's the
yeah,
Muppets I had because I was at that time. And but they were amazing and it's so cool to see like people and so like coming back and actually getting
mm,
like Mayhem getting the series was so great because they always were like I always just associated them with like core Muppets because of the
yeah,
original movie and
mm,
they did a really great job in that. I think it was the first episode where they painted the house, and it was really reminiscent of the first scene in the movie where they painted the church and the
yeah,
Studebaker. So I thought that was really cool how they incorporated like different things they'd done over the years into the series, and then you got to get more backstory, like Janice having a sister, and
mm.
how Animal came into their lives, and well, what is Dr. Teeth's story? Is he a doctor? Like it was all great, and just
Where did
to
he
end
go to
it with
doctor school?
where did he go to doctor school for teeth?
But Patrice, thank you as always for coming on and muppeting that movie with me.
Oh, it's always a blast.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.